Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Sauron Build-A-Figure Wave Bishop figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
6 figures in a wave, all comic-based figures. You're going to need all 6 figures to complete the Sauron Build-A-Figure. And a quick look at the artwork on the side of the box. It is the same on both sides. Alright, so I've got Lucas Bishop, aka Bishop, not that Bishop, out of the package. And this is absolutely a solid offering here from Hasbro Marvel Legends. I feel like I felt when I opened up Cable. I do really like what they did here. I think they did justice to the character, and I think they absolutely gave us one up on the original Toy Biz version. Bishop's bio reads, on the advice of his grandmother, Alpha Mutant Bishop seeks out the X-Men and uses energy conversion and concussive blast to join the ranks of his heroes of legend. Bishop is packed in with the right arm to complete the Sauron Build-A-Figure. And he's packed in with only one true accessory, this blaster here, which is something I don't think we've received before. So that's cool. They gave Cable some different guns, and it looks like they gave Bishop something new here. Not much detail though. Not really any paint detailing. It's just sort of like a flat sort of charcoal gray, and that's it. I do like the sculpt and the design of this, but there is no detail. He can hold his weapon with no problem though. You can see that looks pretty good. Unfortunately, I always say that, you know, the hands are soft, pliable plastic. This plastic for his hands is kind of hard. It's kind of durable. So I didn't feel like bending this hand so he can actually hold the weapon with his left hand properly. I just kind of got it resting on there. But I would have to heat it up a little bit to get him really holding it how I want to, but he can definitely hold it because he's got the extended trigger finger, so he can hold it properly with either hand. Unfortunately, they only gave him the one gun. That was disappointing, but as you can see, he looks pretty nice, man. I'm really happy that not only did we get a 90s version of Bishop, he looks good. We got another black character, man. Yeah. And yeah, man, we're getting close to completing our X-Men Gold Strike team. We're very close to completing Blue. Come on, Hasbro, round these out. Knock this out. I'm feeling the X-Men itch. I'm feeling like we're gonna see some great reveals at SDCC next week, and I'm excited for that. And I'm a savage, so I just went ahead and pried his fingers apart and put it on the blaster properly anyway. So yeah, as you can see, he's got a holster here where he can holster his weapon as well. And just taking a look at the deco, like I said, this is his classic sort of 90s outfit. It looks good. I do see quite a few paint imperfections here though. With the line work, it could be better. I definitely want to find another version of this guy out in the wild at retail and pick one with some better paint apps. Just as far as this this stripe down the middle goes, I think his head sculpt looks pretty nice. Let's get a close look at that. Yeah, there's a good look at that. I think they did a really nice job on this head sculpt. I like the skin tone. I always wondered about Bishop's hairdo. What the hell does he have going on there? He's got the silky shag with the perm, and then he's got the Superman curl on top. At least his beard looks good. He's got the face tat way before any of these young SoundCloud rappers started tattooing their faces. But yeah, he looks real good, man. And there's a look at him with the weapon holstered, and I'm pretty sure this is the way it goes, because if you try to flip it the other way, it slides too far down. That doesn't make any sense, and this looks about right, so he could just kind of reach back and pull out his weapon. That makes the most sense. So yeah, a little ode to the Toy Biz version, which had the holster similar to this as well. And I mean, that's pretty comic accurate, I guess, too. And now that his arms out of the way, you can see how this chest area looks. I'm not sure about this mold, if it's a mixture of a couple of different things or not. But you can see his chest and shoulders and everything looks very broad. But I do think they picked a good buck for this guy. I think it's the right mold. You know, the Toy Biz version from back in the day was very large and very oversized. And his signature red handkerchief, a lot of separate parts here. He's out here repping. And these actual bands on his arms are separate pieces. So, you know, Hasbro does this sometimes where they give you separate pieces, separate sculpted pieces on some figures. I would have liked to see a bunch of separate sculpted pieces that remained in place, though, for Psylocke. That would actually made her better, and a couple of other figures, too. But this belt is a separate part. This harness, I'm not sure if the harness can come off, if it detaches somewhere on here. I don't know. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it. Maybe under the arm. Not quite sure. You can probably just pull this off though. But yeah, I'm spending a lot of time just looking at the deco. Alright, moving right along. Going over his articulation and doing that, I'll tell you my few little gripes with the figure. So the head is on a ball joint. The head will come off. And I'll show you something later that I saw my man John Connor do. And as you can see, like I said, the handkerchief is a separate part. But the head will look down pretty far. And he'll look back just a little bit. Obviously, it's going to be hindered by his long, flowy perm. He'll look left to right, get a little bit of a pivot. Shoulders are on the ball joint. They're going to come up just about that far. You could do a full 360. You do get a double jointed elbow, upper bicep swivel. You get a swivel and a hinge on the wrist, but both wrists hinge up and down, though. So, you know, just so you can get them in that correct, sort of accurate gun holding pose. He does have an ab crunch going forward, couple of clicks, a couple more going back. You do get waist articulation. There is a T-joint at the pelvis. Legs are going to come up that far. Split, it's going to come out pretty far. Upper thigh swivel. You do get a double jointed knee. You do get rotation at the upper boot. You get a hinge and a pivot on the foot. So my gripes are that he doesn't come with more guns. He should have come with more guns. If you don't know, Bishop's power is that he can absorb energy and then kind of redirect it. So some additional hands would have been nice. Also, these cuffs on his gloves are separate pieces too, which is cool. Hasbro giving you a lot of ammunition to get your kit bash on. But yeah, he should have come with some different hands to show him kind of redirecting energy, maybe some energy effects as well. They could have really went the distance with this guy and given him a lot of different effects. And I would have liked to get an additional head sculpt as well. So the lack of accessories is really my main issue with this guy. But overall, I think you guys are going to love this figure, and he came out really nice. All right, size comparison time. We're doing all X characters for the comparisons because that's just how I'm feeling. You know, X-Men is what got me into collecting. It's what originally got me into comic books and then eventually into collecting action figures was the X-Men. I always loved the X-Men. I thought they was hard. I thought they was gritty. I thought the Avengers was pussies back in the day. As a kid, I always felt that. I didn't really get on Avengers until, I don't know, maybe when Bendis did Avengers Disassemble, I started reading Avengers books and then went back and read some older stuff. All right, I'm sidetracking. On the left, we have his wave mate Omega Red. And on the right, his other wave mate, Wolverine, or X-23. And you can see how those stack up. All right, then we have the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure Wave Cable on the left. And I was a little concerned about this. I do think that Cable should be taller than Bishop. So I guess they got that right. I was concerned that Bishop was going to be a little too small. Originally, when I saw him last year, I felt like he looked really good. But I thought he might have been a bit on the small side. But seeing him here side by side with Cable, I like this. I think they stack up just about right. I like the way that looks. My man, Ruckus, if you're down there in the comments, let me know what you think about that, the height between those two dudes. And then on the right, we have the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Wave Wolverine, Tiger Stripe Wolverine. And I think that looks good as well. And then there he is next to the old Toy Biz Apocalypse and the newer Hasbro Apocalypse, which I just built today and completed today. I'm really happy with this Apocalypse. I won't be reviewing the figures from this wave, but I may do a wave overview. So I want to actually get Apocalypse here close to his Toy Biz counterpart. And you can see that Hasbro did a really good job of updating this figure and giving us one that looks aesthetically more pleasing. And he's taller. But I am kind of interested in seeing if I could swap out the old Apocalypse head onto this newer one and see how that might look. I think I do have an additional older Toy Biz Apocalypse. And I also want to check with these hands because the hands on Apocalypse can come off and see if I can do some different things with that. But I'll get into that in the overview of that wave, I suppose. So moving right along. And then there he is next to the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave, Juggernaut Build-A-Figure. And on the right, the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Wave Psylocke. And then finally, there he is next to his old Toy Biz counterpart. So on the far left, this is the variant Bishop, and on the right was the regular release. And you can see how freaking wonky these figures look now in comparison to this newer version, and how nice this new sculpt is. And I mean, look at the proportions on these Toy Biz figures. And when these came out, they were awesome. They were great, but people definitely still complain because they were just oversized in comparison to the other X-Men offerings that we had at that time. And you can see his scarf looks just way more vibrant on this newer version. While the older versions do have some decent paint detailing, you can see over time the paint just didn't really hold up. It doesn't look as good as what Hasbro has put out, especially these head sculpts. But I did see my man John Connor swap on the bald head on this newer Hasbro body. I guess I'll have a picture of that, and that looked pretty good, so I might actually try that. But aside from that, Hasbro's got this one hands down. I may actually use the weapons from the older one too. Let's compare that. Here's a look at that. In my right hand I have the older Toy Biz version, which doesn't have as much paint detailing as I thought I remembered, but it definitely looks better than the newer one as far as just the paint goes. I think I like the size of the newer one better, but let's see if I can holster it and if he can hold this older one and how that looks. Also, you can see that the older version had the side holster as well, where you had the little double barrel shotgun there. My man don't even got a pistol. He got two big guns. He's got a big gun on the back and a big gun as his sidearm. No pistols. And now the new weapon's not going to really fit too well unless you really force it down in there. So I would assume that trying to get him to hold it is probably not a good idea. Yeah, you can see how large that handle is, so that's not going to work. There he is holding the actual double barrel shotgun from the old Toy Biz version, and that works. You know, I had to force it into his hand a little bit, but it works. You can make it work. I really wish he had butterfly joints. That's what they were missing. If he had butterfly joints, he would be really official. Alright, so Bishop turned out really nice, despite some of my concerns or some of my issues with him not being packed in with more. I do think this guy is really nice, and I do think there is plenty of opportunity for you to do your own thing and kit bash and really explore a lot of different options with this guy. I think he's going to be one of the ones that is highly sought after from this wave. You're going to need this guy if you want to complete the Sauron Builder figure, and it is one that I would definitely recommend. Don't forget that ACBA cutouts are still on sale. Our Eternity Conflict pack is still on sale. A link for that will be in the description below, as will links for the Walgreens exclusive Thing fundraiser and the Monster Venom Builder figure wave fundraiser. So all of those links will be in the description below. Shout out to my man Todd, aka Rectangular, for putting me on to these figures and helping me get them a bit early. This wave is not officially out just yet. I believe the release date was supposed to be August. I'm not 100% sure, but some of them showed up overseas in the UK and different places and what have you. So I was able to snag a few kind of early. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.